Come on in the room. Welcome to FinOps in Full Bloom. I'm Talia, your friendly neighborhood fam, and today we have an Inside CloudZero exclusive with the finance team, Emily Allen. Hello, Emily.
Hi, Talia.
Thanks for being on. I really appreciate you, and I'm really excited to get chatting. So I want to start by sharing your bio, even though you're right here. I'll tell the heroes about you, and then you can talk about yourself if you like. How's that sound? Sweet.
Perfect.
I want to get it right. Emily Allen is the Director of Finance and Accounting at CloudZero. Finance persona that's inside the product, heroes. She's a rare finance leader who goes beyond approving FinOps budgets. She uses CloudZero to find savings herself. I mean, every single word in there had me excited. So, do you have anything you want to add to your bio, your intro?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm just your average finance girl, but I started my career in accounting actually, and I think have my CPA. I don't do taxes, so for everyone listening, no. But so I did my career in the Big Four, got to see a lot of different clients, started my career in tech, really helping different groups solve their business challenges. And I did that for companies at like Car Gurus. Then I went to Roku. And then at CloudZero, just have this unique opportunity where the product that we're building, that we are selling to customers, is something that I use every day. So I'm in this unique spot where I sort of get to kind of play around and understand how our product could potentially help other finance teams in the ecosystem. So
I love
definitely a
it.
unique role.
It is really cool. You're doing both sides, and that's rare.
Mm-hmm.
At CloudZero, we say we drink our own champagne. I'll make mine
Mm-hmm.
apple juice, but I do think that it's powerful. And to just fangirl for a minute, that there is a powerful director, female woman in place. In these spaces, it's so important to have a completely different perspective. And I think the female lens we have a different way of even approaching what we could call problems or challenges. We use questions. We have a different dynamic way of dealing with things. And I don't know if it's just because we're socially, culturally supported differently. And physically, we have to learn to navigate spaces because our bodies can have different, experience different things. Like we've got this
Mm-hmm.
intuition that I believe we have. So
Mm-hmm.
what is it like? I know we have a hot take, but just fangirling. It feels so good to have a woman to woman person on this to give you space, sister.
Well, thanks for providing the space. I think, to be honest, just like a lot of times in my career or what I've seen or heard is that sometimes it is a battlefield getting to this position. And my goal is I think it was one of my mentors said, it's really important that when you walk into that boardroom, when you walk into that meeting, that you're really proud to be there, that you're looking behind you and making sure that you're holding the door open, that you're not closing it right behind you. And so that's for me, especially CloudZero, like I'm we're a tech company where I'm working with a lot of people of different ages, of people span in their career, and I talk a lot with the other women at the company just about, like let's really try. It's hard enough sometimes showing up as a woman, especially in male dominated fields, etc. It's hard enough. Let's help each other where we can and really lift each other up, and maybe even more intentional. And it may feel ridiculous or may feel like, oh, like you're just, pointing that out, like, or complimenting, etc. It's like, no, we need to be intentional about like raising people up and keeping them up with us with the journey as we go up. So
Yes. And celebrating.
love that. Yeah, and celebrate it. Like, I mean, Talia, you started this podcast because you're passionate about this. It's like, yeah, amazing. Like, I think that too. A lot of women that I've worked with, we're so outside of our cookie cutter job
Yes.
posting that was posted on LinkedIn. Like, if you had told me 10 years ago that I would be on a podcast talking about my day to day finance life, I would have been like,
No.
so wild. But I think women at companies usually, because almost we have more to prove maybe, but we usually are wearing triple the hats.
Yes.
We're usually doing triple the tasks and doing it well and being organized. And to your point, having some emotional intelligence,
Yes.
uh, because we've had to navigate areas where we're not comfortable, where we weren't welcome for a while. Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
all those skills, we
They
were
translate
trained.
and they're powerful.
Yeah,
And
they
I think
translate.
also, I love this point that you said, where we have to have that emotional intelligence and navigating, because I think that gives us an ability to see. And you were
Mhm,
multitasking on multiple levels and doing it well. Because we have to change gears and we have to know
mhm,
about everyone's different perspective and persona in order to switch that lens. And because we
correct.
can be in the background and then come to the
Mhm,
foreground, we're able to have a full spectrum look at different perspectives and then come in with the knowledge that we earned and the charisma of being able to know how each person needs to be spotlighted and nurtured. And I think the one thing
yeah,
that males and men, whatever that perspective is, can gain is that we're part of the playbook and that we can help elevate experiences in any room we're in. So as soon as you add us to the sauce, it's good. It's even better. And so
yes,
I want to get into this your sauce. I have to understand your makeup and I have hot takes. So I
okay,
have two questions
great,
because I couldn't just do one.
sure.
All right, hot take number one. Hot takes heroes. If you haven't had it and you haven't seen the episode, our podcast before, welcome to the podcast. And hot takes are when I ask a quick question and then Emily, you'll just share what you think about it. So hot take number one, can any company have AI spend under control today? What do you think?
No,
Not yet.
please. The AI company isn't even under control.
No,
No.
right? And they're growing.
Like,
Everyone's changing. Everyone's pivoting.
growing, even like the girls were fighting and now they're investing in each other. Like, it's
Wild.
it's so no. I mean, I think we're in a really crazy tidal wave of new technology. And unfortunately, in finance, we're usually who kind of gets the bill at the end of the day. And,
Yeah.
you know, think of how fast it's moving. And then with that fastness, I guess, like, how could we possibly be catching up when we're looking at things in arrears, right? Like,
Yes.
when you get those bills and it's like, "Oh, this is for last month." It's like, "Okay, well,
Totally different
I
place.
needed that last month. I needed that in the hour it was happening. I needed that in the moment it was happening."
Yes.
Like, that doesn't help me.
So no, not under
So
control.
not under control. I do think, obviously, I think companies are in a lot of different phases of their AI adoption. Like,
Yeah.
kudos to CloudZero, to be honest. Like, I think I say this all the time. I think we're at the forefront of really adopting AI and trying to use it within our platform, within kind of our day to day processes. And I love that. And it's one of the reasons I get excited about tech, and being in finance and tech, is because, we're at the open kind of circus of like all this new technology. However, I think like there's spectrums, and I think there are some companies that maybe are just like in the phase maybe we were like 6 months ago, just trying out ChatGPT or this, or generating some images, or so. I think right now, I don't know that there's AI spend that people are freaking out about quite yet. I think the conversation will be very different once a lot of people catch up and are using it to the degree that some of the more innovative companies are using it. And then their finance teams are like, there's no way for me to know who's spending what, where, why, until it's too late, or there's a trending problem, essentially.
And that brings me to my second hot topic question. I mean, you're just segueing right into it, so I have to do it. Everyone's buying AI, but for finance, who's paying for it? I feel like everyone's like, it's the other person, not me. Is it everyone supposed to be paying for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's we were talking about relationships and,
Yes.
establishing sort of some uh, you know, emotional bonds with the people that you're speaking to and understanding and being able to explain kind of how things are interacted or interwebbing. I think, I mean, I know how we and honestly at other companies, I think it started in engineering. I mean, I think this technology was built by really great engineers
Yep.
for the public. So I can understand why engineering may have started, experimenting, putting it I mean, these companies, they're so new, they just came out with, like, if you have more than 50 users, maybe you should get on a plan. Like, most of these companies, you just put your credit card down and
That's
then
it.
you rock and roll, and so I think, like, to that and, like, yeah, it's whoever kind of takes the initiative to be like, "We need to be at the forefront of new technology. Let's put our card down and start experimenting." Obviously, working with, like, security and,
Yes.
ensuring that all your data is, like, all good. But, I mean, I think that's where it starts. I think ultimately, I mean, maybe a hot take, finance pays for everything. Like,
Hey!
I'm the one processing the invoices, like
And that's the truth. Everyone charges, finance pays for everything. Now, when you're
Right.
talking about this, then it takes me into FinOps for AI and AI for
Mhm.
FinOps. How are you implementing both? I mean, what do we do with a budget now? What is even, if you're talking about arrears and you needed information an hour ago and not a month,
Mhm.
what is FinOps for AI for that? And are you using AI for this?
Yeah, I would say so I used CloudZero because there was a point where I was walking into a meeting trying to understand what vendors. I think, every finance team gets asked, what are our software vendors? Who's costing us the most? How can we be sure that we're not spending more money than we have to on unused software, or, if we are spending money on software, that it's the right money.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, like, with the world that we're in right now, like, this question is just going to be a once a week question for
Yep.
finance teams. So for me, I always try to challenge myself of, like, what questions have I been asked in my career at different companies at different scales, and I felt it's some introspection. I think another thing women are great at is understanding where they kind of fall short or where they can get better. And I said, I really don't have an idea. We're implementing AI. I don't have an idea of how, if someone's using ChatGPT, what does that economic look like versus, Anthropic, and even within Anthropic, what does that cost
Yes.
breakdown look like? So for me, I felt like I, just needed to understand what was going on in some form or fashion. Whether I think at the start, and this is another thing finance people have no shame in, I love my spreadsheets. AI is not coming for my spreadsheets. I love them.
He
Like,
said, "I'll
we're
never."
simple people. We're simple people. We like patterns. We like predictability. We like the formula works. We like equations. Like, we're simple. And so with AI, what is the challenge with a lot of what we're using it for is it's not guaranteed every time, right? It's you ask it a
Yes.
question, then it's going to come back with a suggestion. You might ask it 2 hours later. With a lot of the things and the responsibility that finance has, it needs to be the same answer every
Every
time.
time.
So I'm using AI to help with sort of like guiding me. And so I said, I used CloudZero and said, the data model that I trust, the data, the formulas, the allocations that I trust,
Yes.
pull from that. And then I can, like, kind of bob and weave about what I need to gain from that to do some financial analysis, right? So it's important to have, like, the underneath. You need to be positive that that is accurate, it's reliable, it's auditable, it can be relied upon for financial decisions. when you have that, yeah, you can use AI and query off of it, build all
Nice.
these fancy dashboards. And so what I did was I just said, okay, I trust what CloudZero has. So slice and dice that for me so that I can understand not how do we cut costs, or I wasn't really even looking for that. It was just honestly an understanding so that I could come to the table with these very technical tools that honestly no one really has a full background in, but be able to come prepared, like just like how you prepare for a meeting, right?
Yes.
You need to come prepared for conversations to say, hey, I noticed that in Anthropic, when they released Opus and it defaulted to Opus for everyone, are we really utilizing Anthropic Opus correctly? Does everyone need Opus?
Great
Does
question.
everyone can we switch some things to Sonnet? Like, so that's what you we need to collectively as a finance community need to shift and think about how we can start those conversations. But you need the data model. And so long-winded way of saying yes, I use AI. Yes, that's kind of how I started thinking about FinOps for AI is
Yes.
like, let's just get to conversation starters,
And not at
not
all
just point.
long-winded. I mean, you really walked it through. And finance personas, this whole series is for you. So if you're watching engineering come up, product come up to the front, leadership, listen in because we've got a playbook that you just laid out here. You gave the
Mhm.
tools. You used the visibility tool that comes across platforms and in Just AI, and then you plugged it in with the CloudZero Claude plugin. I mean, shameless plugs here, people. But I'm also
Yes.
sharing your playbook. And you named something that I want to drill into because it was so smooth that it's apple juice smooth, but if you notice it, it tastes good. You said that the team was using Claude. They went, oh, we rolled out Opus. And there was a lot of use. But when I'm looking into your survey and I'm going through and all of the information that I've heard from your previous conversations, this is about 200,000% increase in using Claude Opus. I mean, you noted something, and it could have been just saying, oh, good, the team's using Claude Opus. Great. But
Mhm.
your analytical mind was, but why are we using
Mhm.
Claude Opus today? Did everyone just jump on Opus train? Are we just that excited about it? And because it's new, yes. But then you said, this is for very complex tasks. Are we all
Mhm.
doing complex tasks or are we making PDFs with Opus? Because
Mhm.
for if you don't know Heroes, Claude Opus has high cost for tokens. It's the most expensive version. Sonnet is less, but performant. So your move to switch, that's cost avoidance right there. And for
Mhm.
finance, I'd love for you to tell me, like, how did that roll out?
Honestly, I think people were nervous to I mean, I found that a lot of people, a lot of teams that I've worked with, they don't want their finance person knocking on their door
No.
saying, "You just blew our budget. Thank you so much." Like, no one has that intention, right? And so my job is never to knock on that door, but it's to really educate and partner and sort of hold their hand through
Oh,
buying process. I think what is challenging with AI is the buying process used to look like a engineering VP, a CFO or director or someone gets a, kind of a sales pitch, they go through procurement, they sign a super legal document, and then that's how all the big chunks of money are leaving the bank, right? With AI now, we have turned from, okay, only a couple of people have delegate authority to purchase to everyone can purchase and everyone can do everything. And people, I think when I was speaking with them at our company too, I mean, we're in, you know, cloud costs and AI
yeah.
costs. So we're all like I think a little more sensitive maybe than the typical people, but I've talked around like with my kind of my friends who are in finance, et cetera, and they've had the same thing. They're just like everyone wants to use it, everyone wants to adopt it, just no one wants to be the kind of the anecdote that's like, oh, I blew through all of my company's tokens because I was trying to vibe code a,
Oof.
blah, 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 blah. Like, no one wants to be that person. So I think actually I went to our sales team who really has been breaking barriers with how they're kind of reaching out to customers and potential customers, et cetera, with AI. And I said to them, like, are you using Opus and or like what's going on? Because I think what we can do, like with your tasks, a lot of
Yes.
them probably can use Sonnet or what we actually brainstormed together was, oh, let's, do all of our work or let's do all of our brainstorming and testing in Sonnet, see
Nice.
that our idea actually works. And then when we want to run the task, we'll switch to Opus. And, like, having those brainstorming and then that kinda, like I literally saw when I was having this discussion, the person's sigh of relief of like, "Oh, okay, good. Like,
Oh,
I'm not gonna, like, be spending all of our money." And so that's, I think, the emotional intelligence that we were talking about is that having the understanding that, like, people don't want to be that anecdote. They
no,
want the tools and the visibility, and they want you to say to them, "Hey, I don't think that that is like the best task for the most expensive model." Or
absolutely.
like, and so I think those conversations, once I kind of figured that out, were very well received. And it also just put it in. I'm a big fan of just because in the moment, maybe they might say, "Yep, Emily, great," and then they walk away. Like, just because someone hears something, it may take a couple days. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that my voice isn't a week later, maybe in the back of their mind when they're running something, like, coming back. So, I think that in our company specifically, that's where I've seen a lot of thoughtfulness around ensuring that what we're spending in AI is actually going to be helpful for the business and worth what we're spending,
And
right?
worth
Like,
what we're
that's
spending. I mean, I
at the end of the
agree.
day, that's what finance cares. That's what finance cares about is like, are our investments helpful to the longevity of the business? And that's like the thesis of good finance people really is that's what they should be thinking about in every aspect of their job.
And you've been implementing that because there's a transformation story here for how you saved because you said that you're not looking. You were exploring AI, you weren't looking to cut costs, but you did, and it happened
Yeah.
in like I mean, the time that you cut to, besides cost, you cut time, implemented in exploring spend and coming to a resolution. Heroes, I'm
Mhm.
dodging the results because I'd love for you, Emily, to tell the whole story. I don't want to give it all, but I want to say that you did use time, you did use AI, you did cut costs, and the swiftness, is that a word? How
It is
quickly,
now.
right? It is now. How quickly you found that resolution is powerful. So I'd love for you to share in our transformation story area. Could you please share a little bit about what I'm alluding to in this journey that you took with AI?
Yeah, yeah, and for those who learn via reading a blog, it is a blog on my
Yes,
LinkedIn blog.
Emily
But,
Allen
for
LinkedIn.
the yeah, so but for the, basically, like I said, I was sort of just trying to understand and get educated on what people's usage was, and I saw was with CloudZero data, I was able to see particular people and what they were using, what model, what, provider, how often they were using it, etc. And then honestly, just through conversations like you should switch models or, we should really be using ChatGPT for this versus Anthropic, or we should, and just having those conversations was probably able to save about, if you annualize it, like 30K.
Come
So it's,
on.
and that was, and it really was just, it was just a like quick to your point. That's what's incredible about this technology. It's quick. It speeds up what you need to do and the impact you can have. So I think, you know, every finance person loves saving money. I especially loved it. And it was great that we used our tool to do it.
I love all of
But
it. And you say quick, heroes, quick to the tune of 10 minutes. You took
yes.
a
10 minutes,
spreadsheet format that you usually manually update,
yeah. Mhm.
line by line and add it in and then assess it. Now, there's probably formulas in there because you're FinOps, right? I mean, you're finance. So you've got formulas and calculations and cross references and probably some tabs. And now 10 minutes with Claude plugged into Cloud. Do you feel robbed of your manual experience, or are you celebrating that? Do you miss Excel at this point?
Well, here's the thing is that I kind of do. And
Mm.
in those situations, I'm like, I can see the accuracy, I can see the impact. I'm all for like, yeah, there it's ridiculous. I should never be writing the credit card charges and adding them all up or exporting
Plus,
a report from our T&E and like trying to like piece together so that when, my people above say, "Hey, how much are we spending on Claude?" I'm not running through receipts like the
ugh,
CVS receipt that's like 10 pages long. Like I'm not running through that. Absolutely love it. I do think there is still for finance and like what our responsibilities are. I think there is still a place for sort of our processes that we have worked for many, many years to establish and do. And
yes.
AI can just, I think, assist and help and speed it up. I don't think it's gonna like come for us as the people above in all these headlines are saying as much as they think.
I don't. I really think that we have to your point, human intelligence is an edge, especially you in spaces, women in spaces, women personas. I'm talking to you. Come into the room. You're welcome into the space. I'm in tech, but I'm not a techie. Don't come for me in the comments. I'm just sharing with you. I'm not a techie. I love
Mm.
other things outside of tech. So I don't wake
Mhm.
up for it for gaming, but I am in tech and I've been in tech for years. And sometimes I
Mhm.
find that having conversations with techies isn't their strong suit. They're better at calculations and computations. So having emotional
Mhm.
intelligence and bringing it in and creating a space where you can share, you can sense what's going
Mhm.
on. We culturally had the ability to speak our thoughts. And so we can speak to that and then allow someone to process it. And I think that enables their superpower of calculations and
Mhm.
computations later on. And you bring that transformation in a very gentle and enlightening way, which love. I absolutely love about your presence. Heroes, we have a Thursday build where we share different things that we build. And you actually stepped up first and shared that you actually used AI and built a thing for yourself. So congratulations on where you're going. And it brings me to the FinOps in full bloom theme of where we're blooming, what seeds we're planting, what are we nurturing. So I'll start. I know I went to bloom, but let's start with seeds. What are you planting? What are you trying to start now? Is it trying to start building things?
So, I think for myself and my team, what I'm trying to really plant or challenge us is to really rethink the processes that we've been trained to do with a
Yeah.
new eye and plant that curiosity. I mean, we for the finance nerds out there, we bought a new software that is new in the game that didn't have a lot of, long standing kind of relationships. They weren't like the big dog on in the accounting side. They were this new AI powered accounting tool. And
Nice.
we looked at each other, myself and my team, and said, how can we push each other to like take the risk on this because we want to be at the forefront of finance. We want to be the people who people turn to and say, "How did you do that? How did you become faster?" We want to be those leaders. So, I think for me what I'm planting or is really just trying to change the way I do things so that I can be seen as someone who, hey, if you want to change the way your business is functioning and what the team to be different than how they were 20 years ago, that is who you go to. And that's kind of what I'm trying to cultivate.
And you're expanding in this. I mean, you've went into FinOps, but now you're using a product and you're using the product to FinOps to FinOps. I mean, it's so meta. I really love it. Where are you? So you've got seeds that you're planting. What are you nurturing? What's working? And you're just trying to continue to get that bubbling up and growing. I know you're talking about a new lens for budgets and
Mm,
you're talking about ownership for
yep.
everyone.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I also am trying to really nurture having grace and
Oh.
patience and forgiveness of myself. I think we were chatting earlier. I think there was one time when I was discussing AI with someone and they were using so much jargon. And honestly, the conversation just left me feeling like I wasn't smart enough to understand what was going on, or
Oh.
I didn't have the vocab to really be welcomed in. And I think as I've gotten more familiar, I try to understand how I felt in that moment, and really, I don't ever wanna make anyone feel like that ever again. And I think with finance too, like, we are lean teams usually. We have so many tasks that we need to do that the thought of learning something new can be really intimidating and may take away from the need to do tasks. And
Yeah.
so I think I'm just trying to nurture a space and nurture grace for myself too of like I'm doing the best I can. We're all just trying to learn. This is like a new wave of technology. If you're not an expert in it, start small. It's you can ask someone, and trying to be that safe space, I think, and that's kind of what I that's my vibe. I try to nurture, try to show up in ways maybe people haven't been supported in the past.
I think that's phenomenal. I'm actually, I guess I take on that as well, especially being in tech, holding doors
Mhm.
open. The fact that you're even aware of holding the door open because someone did it for you and someone did it for me.
Mhm.
And then I go into the next room
Yep.
and I need another person to hold that door open. And I've got to hold it. And some of that comes when people say that, you might ask, heroes, you might ask, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? To help, it means breaking through the jargon, making things accessible. That's what this whole
Mhm.
podcast, right? The intention is we don't need to have engineering talk, finance talk, leadership talk, because each one of those personas can have product. They can all have words that in your room, everyone understands what you're saying. But not everyone can walk into a room and hear, oh, ROIs, the FP&A, and know what are we talking about? But when
Right.
you say, hey, when you spend that time on this, do you find it valuable what you made? Like what you made, do you find it worth the 20 minutes? And they'll say, oh, well, yeah, it's definitely saved me an hour. And you're like, that's ROI. Hey.
Right.
And now,
Right. Right. And it's being able to relate that, and but also having the experience, right? I think the other thing that's kind of maybe it's not in your hot take section, but my hot take or my anger right now or is honestly on a lot of people having headlines who I'm sorry but haven't really done the work that they're talking about in probably 10 to 15 years.
yes,
They're up at the top, and they have teams and teams and teams of people, and maybe they have really good communication flow, but I'm not taking advice from someone who's up there
distanced.
when they're not in the field with me right now and knowing how to change the different workflows, because like if you're not in it right now and like you don't get it.
You
You don't.
don't.
So
You're just out
I think
out
that's the
of
other
that
thing.
lane.
Yeah, and it's just like honestly, I think sometimes I look at my team and they're like, I'm so overwhelmed by like, we should be using AI and I don't even know how to use it. I'm like, let's take a breath. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You can just do little morsels. We can
Yes.
like we don't need to be doing leaps and bounds. It's like any other project that you take on, right? Like
Yes.
you don't celebrate the finish line before you've even started taking a step, right? Like you need to take the little steps.
I said that the other day or the other episode. I said, you can't wash your plate while you're eating dinner. You have to
Oh,
pick
totally.
one. You have to eat your food off your plate or
Mhm.
wash your plate. But if you wash your food, what was the point? You can't. You have to eat your food, clear the plate, then wash the plate. And so it's important to
Right.
understand that AI it can't break the process of growth. It could
Mhm.
speed it, it could shorten it, but if I'm trying to go from like not flexible to splits and I force it, I'm pulling a hamstring here. And now I got to spend time recovering. And some of that recovering when it comes to AI feels like feeling so overwhelmed that
Mhm.
you don't even know what to do. You're frozen. You don't even know what to do. And so I love your
Yeah.
approach of saying, let's take a minute. Let's
Mhm.
find the purpose in the process and then put AI
Yeah.
in that purpose and sprinkle some here and keep the spreadsheet, by the way, because we need to
Yeah.
validate.
I mean, yeah, you need to validate, trust but verify. That's a phrase that a lot of finance people love, I myself included. I think too, just like it's not that serious either. Like I I love my job. I'm obviously passionate about, all things, but I named my, anthrop I call her Claudette. I'm like, "Oh, let's ask Claudette."
Yes, that's
Like
right. Well
it's
done.
not that serious. It's really not. It's meant to help. It's meant to add to your skill set to know how to use. It's not this like we're not in a doctor's office like seeing patients. We are in
You are
tech and
right.
it's very cool, but I think we all can take a breath sometimes and humanize that, you know what, we're just playing with the robots
That's
sometimes.
it. I think that's so potent. And that you called it Claudette. Come on, feminine names. I love
Claudette,
because
yeah, I love
Claude can
her.
go get something, but Claudette, she just has a
Claudette,
different. I
she's
love
got a
it.
different flavor.
It has a different flavor. All right, to wrap our FinOps in full bloom, what do you think you're blooming in? What do you think is going really well?
It's going really well, I think, is you I mean, obviously, I just saved the company money, that's going well, but no, I mean,
Yes.
in all seriousness, I mean, I think, I think what's going well is really challenging the status quo, and it's really exciting and cool to see challenging, things that we were taught in our professions, the norms, and just seeing kind of how this new technology is really just changing my day to day. Slowly but surely, it's here and it's exciting. And I think that's what's working well is it's stimulating. It makes me want to come into work, rethink how I'm doing things, allows me to do what I want more of and then less of kind of what I dread,
Yeah.
and
Yes. See,
that's
you just
exciting, and I
sold
think that's
AI.
great.
I think you just sold yeah, I really do. I think, we need more of those conversations about putting AI in its perspective and then also
Mhm.
recognizing just who you are and your superpower.
Mhm.
And Emily, your superpowers abound. They abound. And just being able
You as
to,
well.
oh, thank you. One of them that I love is what you just said, is challenging the status quo. I mean, it's like you were born as authentic as you are, and I don't even want to say a negative send of it, like refuse to. You are determined to remain your authentic self in any space and call everyone else, instead of calling them out, you're calling them to their authentic selves. You're welcoming them into sharing and blooming. And you're like a gardener in all of these spaces, nurturing and blooming, different perspectives. You're recognizing the, crazy energy, and you're helping to settle and soothe, but you're also putting people in, let's walk together into something challenging. Let's challenge the status quo. This is new. This is old. This we don't need. But also,
Right.
do we also need all of the new thing? Like maybe a little bit of the new thing, maybe some of the old thing, maybe not the thing that's kind of keeping us inside of our jargon. So you really are, it's like chiropractic, where you just really align someone and say, I don't need to put too much pressure on this spine here. This one needs to get locked into place. And here you need to be gentle with yourself. And I think you're helping everyone like stand taller in rooms. And I really, really
Yeah, hopefully.
appreciate you. I'm fanning again in the beginning and at the end. All right, as we get to the end,
Um,
I want to ask you one last question. It was two questions. One's a fun one, but this one is what
I
trends are you seeing in the finance FinOps world or all in FinOps?
In the finance world right now, the trends I'm seeing are like these vibe coding for finance
I love this.
sessions. Yeah, and so I've joined, and it it is kind of funny because I think the more I talk to more finance people, we all have like the same 3 problems. And then it's like it's just no one cares about finance. So
Oh,
there's not so it's like our problems are so easy like in the technology space. Like all we want is visibility, and we just want to just grab our like data and put it in our spreadsheets and move on. And like it's that's all it is at the end of the day. So I joined these AI vibe sessions, and people are like, I just built this and that and this and that. I'm like, oh, I was like, damn, you should have bought CloudZero. But you know,
Another plug.
no,
I
but
love it. That's gonna be the phrase.
no,
Should
but
have
I
bought
think like that's
CloudZero.
like well, I think to the point of, like establishing connection and establishing and, personal kind of, back and forth with people. I think finance and engineering like have a we can be better partners together. And I think when I join these meetings, I can tell which finance teams have like a little friend in engineering to be like, hey, I'm thinking about this or I'm struggling with this. Like, how, can you help me think through? I can tell which people have that versus the ones who like don't have
It's
any friends
true.
over there
It's
and
true.
who are just trying to muddy through like
But now you've got Claudette. So
I yeah, Claudette, she's
she'll help
there.
you a
She's
little bit with
everywhere.
that. I love it. All right, last question. I can't believe we're near the end. This has been delightful. It's so easy talking to you. All right, last
Thanks. You
question.
too.
When you're getting things done, what's on your playlist? I know I'm saying it like it's so serious. It's not.
I know, but I'm gonna give the most finance boring answer. I'm a big actually this probably won't be surprising to you, but I'm like a huge Oprah. I love all of her podcasts. I love all it ranges anywhere. Like I was listening yesterday to Emma Greed's. I don't know
I'm
if you or
agreed.
know I love her, but I was listening to their podcast, and I think there's just something about like when people are talking about. I listen to your podcast sometimes too. I like podcasts. I'm a podcast person, and I like when I feel like even if I'm not all the way tuned in, and it's kind of that point I was talking about earlier, it's almost like osmosis. Like maybe I'm not 100% in, but maybe next week I'll think of maybe a phrase that maybe I wasn't in tune with when I was listening, but maybe that's driving me. And so I usually just put her, she has like the Super Soul Sundays, and I usually
Yes.
just like, and it's a lot of different topics. It's anything from like, eat more greens to like how to become a millionaire in 2 days. So it's a lot of different topics, and I like that too. So podcasts really are my go-to.
I love that. Actually, you sparked me. I have been listening to podcasts lately. Emma Grede has been top of the list. I just love the questions she asks. I mean, when do you get a chance to have someone with her mindset for launching these
Mhm.
businesses? Have you seen her show? It's called like Side Hustle. There's like
Mhm.
two women owners who are taking pitches from other women owners, and she's giving them these gems. And so now she's got this podcast and she's just grabbing gems from other females who are in the scene. I mean, she did a meeting
Mhm.
with Issa Rae where really Issa broke down starting and then launching. She's got from skincare to makeup to finance all the way across. And I actually do go on my walks. And I put the headphones because they're big, right? I
Yep.
put them back here so that I can listen to the earth and and I do think to your point, some of it's gonna be by osmosis because I need to touch earth, and then I'll let
Mhm.
the lecture happen. I'll be
Yeah.
listening, and I think that to me, I trust that my spirit will catch what I need because I'm intentionally staying open. So when I
Yeah.
need to hear the birds, I'll hear the birds. And when I need to hear Emma and Oprah, I'll hear them too. And so I love that you sparked that for me. That's true. Podcast is part of the playlist. Well
There you
done.
go. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I mean, quit slacking. Gotta be
you said
in the sheet.
and thinking. So I've had a wonderful time chit-chatting with you. And you have really laid out um, several playbooks for how to encourage teams, how to walk into spaces, how to analyze, how to work with new trends, and to find your
Mhm.
stable point. I mean, anyone who's watching Heroes, feel free to hit rewind because this is a wonderful. I had a great time. I hope you did too. Yes.
Always with you, Ty.
All right. Do you want to help me say goodbye to everyone on the count of three?
Yeah.
One, two,
Yeah.
three. Bye. See you later, heroes.